Today I'm going to take a look at the 1000 Toys Cuphead. I'll start off by saying that I'm a pretty big fan of Cuphead. I like that kind of old cartoon style from the 30s. And there's a lot of influence from that early era of cartoons from like the 30s to 50s. Obviously, most of the game was inspired by the rubber hose style of cartoons in the early 30s. But there's also a lot of influence from Tex Avery from the 50s, and also Merry Melodies, Steamboat Willie, also the early Disney theatrical films, and even Chuck Jones a little bit. So I like that part about Cuphead. I'm also a fan of jazz, and it had a lot of jazz, early jazz, big band, kind of New Orleans, different genres of jazz. They're also from that same era. So, fan of the characters, fan of the design, fan of the gameplay, fan of the art style. But we're going to find out today if I'm a fan of this figure. But of course, first we'll take a short look at the box, which the box is way bigger than it needs to be. I don't know why they made it this big. It has a lot of extra space in the back, but the design is nice. I mean, it has a lot of nice pictures of Cuphead here, a lot of expressions. But yeah, the back, same pictures that they had online. On the other side, the same thing. On the top, same thing. On the bottom, a lot of writing. One thing I do want to point out about the box is that the cardboard insert is removable, so you can have that. And you can take pictures of whatever you want with that. So here's what we get. Not a whole lot. Only 2 sets of eyes and 6 hands, which is pretty disappointing. Especially with the range of emotion that you're going to get with this. You're not going to get a whole lot. Kind of a determined eyebrow sculpt, and then a looking off to the side. But his mouth is always open, especially because he's based off the era of cartoons, where cartoons were a lot more expressive. And you can just see the range of emotion and range of expressions here just from this insert alone. So it's pretty disappointing that we can't recreate any of these. Also, no effects. So no blast effects, no. And there's a lot of different weapons in the game that he used. So again, another missed opportunity. I can also go over the accessories first. So you can't swap out the eyes. But before you swap out the eyes, you want to make sure that you take the nose off. The nose is removable, and you have to take the nose off before you take the eyes off. And yeah, he does look kind of funny. Now, the eyes are kind of hard to take off. The way that I found out is the easiest is you want to take your thumbnails and you just kind of want to press them into the that small opening there, and then you just want to press down and then pull away from the face, and then eventually it'll come off. He does look kind of creepy, but then that's how you swap the eyes out. So we had the determined, angry expression eyes. And now you can switch them out for the eyes that are looking to the side. So there's that, and then you get the nose on. That's how you switch out the eyes. Okay, the hands. He comes with 2 fists out of the package. Just 2 plain Mickey Mouse gloves. And then he comes with his shooting hands. And open hands. Okay, but now let's get into the actual figures. I'll just go from the top of the straw to the bottom of his Timbs, and I'll comment on everything. First thing I want to mention is that the straw is not movable, but the milk or whatever inside is, so you can move the straw around any way you want. So I guess that is one way of getting different expressions out of him. And that's what the top looks like. Then you have the eyes, which are just plastic with the cartoon pupils printed on. It looks fine. And then of course you have the nose, which again is removable, and it only goes in one way. You can't put it in upside down. Like it won't go in that way. It has to go in this way. It's the only way that it would fit. And you have the mouth, which is flat. It is not sculpted or anything, which again is another point of disappointment for me. You do have the handle on the back of the cup. Now, for articulation, this joint is really weird. This neck joint, I'm not sure how well the camera's going to pick it up, but it is very odd. I've never seen a neck joint look like this. So I don't know how well you can see that, but it's kind of a weird looking like ratchet joint with a ball on top of it. It's basically like a ratchet disc with a ball on top of it. So an odd choice for a neck. I would have liked the traditional dumbbell joint for the neck, for the head articulation, but they went with that, and I guess it does work. So that much back, this much down. Then he does look side to side. It is a little stiff though, so I am worried about breaking that joint. There's a lot of pull to it, like the head will pull, it will twist the peg. So let me try to demonstrate that. So like, see, when you turn it, it's pulling on the peg, it's not turning. So there's some tension on the neck that is a little worrying. So you don't want to go twisting it too hard. You want to be careful with that. There is some tilt, a minimal amount, but it's still there. The head does kind of shift a little bit. I think it shifts forward and back, like so. So head articulation, I guess it's good. I just wish they would have done it a little bit differently, but it is functional. The head is not removable, by the way. I would have liked for it to have been removable, but it is not. It is very hard, and I'm afraid of snapping the joint in there. So that is another unfortunate thing. But the shoulders now are interesting. They go out that far. They go forward that far. They also go in and out. And we come into the first problem here with the shoulders. They pop out very easily. It is not broken. It just pops out. It's kind of like a cup, I guess. And then you have the actual ball here. Not really a butterfly. It's just the socket moving around the ball. So I guess it's like a butterfly, and it goes back that far, goes forward that much, not a whole lot. Now getting to my second problem with the arms here is that each of these separate, like the bicep piece and the forearm piece, are separate pieces of plastic. They go over the actual inner working joints, so you can rotate the bicep without rotating the rest of the arm. So I don't know if you can see that, but see how his hand is not moving, but this upper bicep part is. It's because they're not stuck together, they're not attached to each other, it's just sitting on top of it. So that can become a problem when you're moving him around and something gets misaligned. For example, well, then you can't move his arm up, and he kind of breaks his arm. So you gotta shift that around. Then you can move it up, and also the forearm piece also rotates independently of the joint. So again, you can get into problems there. You gotta make sure they're aligned, basically. But he does get 90 degrees. Bicep swivel. The easiest way to move it is just to bend the arm first and then rotate it. Now the hands, they basically swivel, and that's it. It is on a ball joint. It doesn't function as a ball joint because there's not a lot of room in there for it to move freely. So you're just going to get swivel articulation, and putting on the hands is pretty easy. And so now he's got a different hand. All right. The body. Now the body is interesting. It is a soft overlay, which allows for movement, and he does have a lower waist swivel. So he does swivel, and he does go back at the waist and forward, and he does move side to side a lot more, so that is nice. Okay, then we get into his red diaper here, which is a hard plastic, nothing special about it. But now we get into the legs, and we have a similar problem to the arms, where you have the shifting pieces that go over the actual joints themselves. So you have the shorts here, the leg of the shorts, which do float around, and he kicks forward that much. Pretty good. And then he kicks back tiny bit. And his legs do kick out that far. Not a whole lot. There is a swivel. You can move these pieces independently of the joint. So you have to be careful, or he's going to be breaking his leg. He does have a knee joint, again, 90 degrees. It's a decent looking knee bend from the front, I guess. But from the sides, that silver bolt really sticks out. Now coming down to the ankles, the articulation loses a lot of points here on the ankles. So again, you have a floating piece, so you can see it moves around. Now when you move the ankles down, it does have a nice range of motion, but as you can see, really bad gapping going on here. And you can see the joint. So that's really disappointing. Now one way to fix this is because the ankle part of the boot here does rotate by itself, so you can rotate it around to where you hide the gap, so then you get this. But then you can't move his foot forward. So if you're doing like a jumping pose, you have to do that for both feet. I don't know if they meant for that to be possible, but that is the unfortunate reality of the ankle joints of this figure. Then moving on to the actual boot, there is ankle pivot. And it works pretty well. There's toe, which is also nice. It does help stabilize the figure, although it does look ugly because of all that. The running poses are pretty easy to achieve. Alright, now it's time for some height comparisons. Here's a Hasbro Lightning Collection, a Mighty Morphin Green Ranger. Here's Limb Toys Leon. Here's G.I. Joe Classified Snake Eyes. Marvel Legends Silver Centurion, Iron Man. Comic book accurate Red Skull with Gridiron Studios Flamethrower Pack. Here's Lightning Collection Tenga Warrior. And here's Mattel WWE Ultimate Edition Stone Cold Steve Austin. And here's DC Dr. Manhattan. Here's Black Series Anakin Skywalker. And here's Sakura Mato. And last but not least, here is my custom Tony Stark and Patriot Studios Joker. My final thoughts on the figure. Well, it's not that great. It does feel kind of hollow, kind of more plasticky. It's all made of a hard plastic, and no effects. Extremely limited amount of expressions. Really unfortunate, especially for the price point, which is about 60 to 70. Ridiculous. It is not worth that much. Unless you're really a big fan and you'll buy anything Cuphead, then I guess go ahead and buy it. I would say no. Don't buy this, even if you're not sure. Even if you are a fan, don't buy it. I'm sure another company is going to make better figures of Cuphead. There also is a Mugman that 1000 Toys made, and I didn't get it because I didn't want to pay $140 for both figures and have both of them suck. I'd rather just spend $70, realize it sucks, and not spend another $70 for the other Mugman. So I don't know, I might sell this, but I'll see how much fun I can have with this figure while I have it. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, man. This is not that great. That's all I got to say about this figure. Check me out on Instagram at TryingToKillToys, and check out my Star Wars account, Lars Homestead Photos. Enjoy these pictures that I took, and I'll see you guys in the next video.